As children start to prepare to go back to school after the long holidays, time is spent buying new school shoes, uniforms, and books. But little time is spent preparing their bodies for the sudden increase in walking and sport that lies ahead after a lazy, relaxing holiday. Injuries occur when we exceed the current capacity of the body and place more stress on young tissues than they can tolerate at that time. This may occur after a period of lower level activity, such as the long school holidays, or when kids go back to a new or increased volume of activities that they haven't yet prepared for. So let's think for a minute about when the highest number of injuries occur in the school year. Well, we usually see that in around the third week of a new term or season, kids start to complain of pain. They've had a spike in activity in those first 2 weeks of the term, and the body is desperately trying to adapt but just can't keep up with the new level of activity, and injuries follow. So during that first week of term, how much can the child safely do? We used to think it was about how old they were, but the truth is children are no different to adults. If they haven't done the training, they'll usually pick up an injury. If the child's been active over the summer, doing similar sports to the ones they're going back to, they've done the training and they're prepared for what lies ahead, there shouldn't be a problem. But if they haven't, their bones and muscles will have deconditioned and be totally unprepared for the onslaught of school sports, PE lessons, clubs, and other activities. So it's time to make a plan if the child does not want to start the season and find it ends before they really got it going. Sit down with your child and ask them, how many sports do they want to play? How much do they want to do it? And how often? How many teams do they want to play for and at what level? And are there any clashes between the sports or with your own schedule? So start to think about how realistic their ambitions are. Once we know what they want to do, we have to consider how much training they've done in preparation for that. So now we can start to think of it as how much have they done in the last 3 to 4 weeks. We could take the average of the last 3 to 4 weeks and to think about how well they coped with it. Did they get very sore and very tired, or were they coping well? And if they cope well, we can usually start to think around adding around 10% more each week, although every child has a different tolerance, and this tolerance is affected by recent growth spurts, lack of sleep, or nutrition. One of the things that's often forgotten is just how many steps kids do walking to and from school, and also around the school site in addition to their sporting activities. Try tracking their current activity level in steps per day and maybe compare it to a day during term time. You might need to start sending them out on daily walks to the shops or to get the dog walked to prepare them better for what lies ahead at school. If they haven't done the appropriate level of training ready for the start of term, we need to think about what we can do. You can either reduce down their volume in those first few weeks or try and boost their capacity to do more. Kids rarely want to do less, so boosting their battery to tolerate more is a better option. Think of yourself. If you sleep well, eat well, and are not stressed, you perform better, and children are just the same. Kids need to focus on the 4 R's: repair and grow, rehydrate, recharge and recover, and refuel. Prioritize sleep regularity with sticking to the same bedtime for the next week before school starts. Try to encourage them to get into good eating habits, starting the day with a carb and protein-based breakfast, and try out making some energy-rich snacks they can take to school. Kids often forget to drink, so make sure they get into good habits of sipping water regularly and get them a refillable drinks bottle ready for school and sport. During times of growth and stress, they may need more additional energy and their reserves might be depleted. So teach them to listen to their body so they understand when it's good to train and when it's not. On days when their battery is empty, they're ill, tired, or stressed, maybe missing a session is better than missing a season. On days when they feel like they're half full, teach them it's okay to go easy at training and save what energy they have for match day. Perhaps they could focus on a more technical or tactical development that day. On the days when they're full of energy, then this is the day to maximize training and go hard and fast. But children need to understand that elite athletes don't train hard and fast every day. They adapt their training volume and intensity according to how they feel. If they've not trained for the sport, then we need to start slowly. Start maybe in week 1 with just their school PE and games lessons. Avoid back-to-back days where possible. And avoid maybe all their lunchtime activities until later in the week, perhaps adding in one activity one week and maybe more the week after. During week 2, perhaps they could increase those school activities and start to add maybe club training, gradually adding more volume and intensity as each week goes by. But if they've really not done much over the summer, then those sudden spikes in activity might still be too much. And you need to monitor for signs that they're not coping, such as recurrent sore throats or soreness. The expression better a day off than a season missed is never more pertinent than at the start of a term. Start slowly. Build up that load and intensity gradually. Factor in days for adaptation. Don't schedule something for every day of the week. And really teach kids how to listen to their body. They absolutely know how to moderate their phone battery so that they can still use it. And in much the same way, they need to learn how to moderate their own batteries. If they need recharging, it's better to do it than risk illness or injury. So make it something that they gradually build up over the beginning of the term and watch them enjoy a full, healthy and injury-free season. Kids Back to Sport provide comprehensive free resources for parents, health and exercise professionals to support injured children getting safely back to sport.